Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
These actions are not taken lightly, and I know A.D. Haller is making them in support of the interests of the individuals impacted.
The university's objective has been and remains focused on conducting a fair, thorough, and unbiased investigation. It
is not lost on me the significance of this moment or its impact on those involved in the case, our university community, and the extended Spartan family.
As there have been new developments before the hearing, and with the best interests of everyone, including student athletes and the university community in mind, I have suspended Mel Tucker without pay as an additional interim measure. While the investigation continues, I made this decision with the support of university leadership.
Due to the sexual harassment allegations surrounding Michigan State's football coach Mel Tucker, Athletic Director Alan Haller is calling upon Harlan Barnett to serve as the Spartans' acting coach in the midst of Tucker's suspension. It's been a trying week for the program as it also gets ready for a very tough opponent this week in Washington. And the one word Barnett is challenging the players to rally around is unity. Coming together during this time of adversity is going to be crucial, and it's where Barnett and I begin our conversation this week.
Right now, everybody is looking to stay mission focused. We have a mission to complete. It was a 12-game, guaranteed 12-game mission, and we're on mission number 3 right now, and all the guys are focused on that. Regardless of the adversity, they're pushing through.
You made it a point to meet with each player individually. Why did you want to do that?
Because I want them to know who I was, and I want to know them even better. Of course, you know, my position group, defensive backs, I know all of them very well and intimately to a certain extent. And I want to do that with everybody, and I want them to know me as well, and how I am, how I think. And so that's why I'm doing that. I met with 27 guys yesterday, and we start with older guys working down to the younger guys. Probably get another 20-something guys in today and just keep working until we get through the whole roster. 5 to 10 minutes, just talking with each other, sharing with each other, and then letting them know what my expectations are.
You mentioned that, you know, they had told you that there was some sympathy that they felt towards the situation. How do you continue to be there for young men who are maybe don't know how to feel about a situation like this?
You lean on your past history, your past experiences as an older and adult. You know, preferably we have learned from our long years of living and going through different things, because you're going to go through things in life, and sometimes we can be able to lend a helping hand on falling back on situations that we've gone through to help them. And so that's what I've done. I know some of our coaching staff has done to help the guys get through this situation, help them get through it.
Yeah, you are very spiritual. Touched upon it in the press conference. You do have a lot of players who are very spiritual on your team as well. Can you think of one player who, if you're asking someone to unify the team, or maybe two, from a spiritual standpoint, to uplift people, who would that be?
One of the guys is Caleb Coley. Another guy, out of the guys that I know, knows I'm saying my position, but another guy is Nathan Carter. So those two guys for sure. And there's others. I know they're out there, and we're gonna get them out there too. I think JD Duplain or Nick Samac, you know, Spencer Brown. Now I'm starting to rattle off guys. Yesterday when I said who got the prayer, JJ Jarrett Jackson stepped up. I got it, didn't hesitate. So I think it's more than I know even right now, but we're gonna get it all figured out and know that that's the ultimate. While we had so much success here with Coach D, in my opinion, and I've told him this, is because we always gave honor to God. And so that he's the only and ultimate source. Everything else is a resource. So he's our source.
Will you go more into detail too then about the circle or the prayer circle, or when you ask a player to say, I got it, and then they're the ones who are supposed to lead?
Yes, it's something we used to do with Coach D'Antonio. After practice, have everybody come up, and then I was like, who got it? And I got it. And so, like I said yesterday, it was Jared Jackson. It could end up being a coach, you know. And it's just a prayer, thanking God for, you know, the opportunities to be able to be out there and play and coach the game that we love, and for people, whatever situation may be going on in their lives or other people's lives. It's very powerful.
At Barnett's press conference on Tuesday, he said he's always wanted to be the head coach at Michigan State, just not under these circumstances. And it's where we will pick up part 2 of our chat when we come back.
This segment is sponsored by Spartan Dogs for Life.
As we go to break, Farm Bureau Insurance invites you to register to win an exclusive private dinner with head coach Tom Izzo. Go to InsideTheGreenSweeps.com to register.
At MSU FCU, we believe that if you can dream it, you can achieve it. With a variety of certificate options, you can find the one that matches your savings goals. In 3 months, you'll be sporting that new watch. In 6 months, you'll finally take that vacation you so desperately need. In 1 year, you'll begin a new chapter in your life. And in 2 years, your family will get a little bit bigger. Achieving your dreams is possible when you earn more on your savings. Open a certificate today at msufcu.org.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Anyone who knows Harlan Barnett knows he is a Spartan through and through. From being a captain on the team during his playing days in the green and white to serving in just about every coaching role possible within the program. He now gets his opportunity to lead amidst incredibly challenging circumstances. And as you'll hear, he does have Mel Tucker's full support. You mentioned that you haven't spoken to Mel since after Saturday night, probably early Sunday morning. When he did reach out to you, or you did have contact with him, the support piece of what he had mentioned about supporting you as you have been named active head coach.
Yeah, and at the time, he was really supportive of us, the coaches, and the team. And there was an inspirational message kind of in that, you know, basically, I'm going to sum it up. We know what we've built. The guys know what they got to do. Handle your business on Saturday.
And this leads now to you. You know, you said that you've always wanted to be the head coach here at Michigan State University. Probably didn't anticipate it under these circumstances or want it under these circumstances, but now you have a chance to do what you have always wanted and, you know, love to do. And how do you just relish kind of in that, even though despite everything surrounding it?
By staying mission focused, just like the kids, the young men, but I gotta stay mission focused. I can't play anymore, but I still get very excited like I'm gonna play when it's game day or get fired up. And so I play through the guys. I've always played through my position group on my side of the ball.
Did they know your nickname was a bang stick? And have they seen any highlights of you hitting people? I don't know, that might fire them up. I mean, nobody tackled it. I figure you and Charlie Thornhill were the hardest hitters I've ever seen around here.
Let's
put a highlight tape together.
You know, I don't, that's not my personality. What I did say the other day, I just went fast on my story with them, I told them. So when I meet with them for 5 minutes, they at least have a knowledge background. But all I said was where I was, I went real fast and got through it, and that was it.
That's why I'm meeting with all the guys, to let them know how I am. My philosophy, and guys that play for me know this, it's like the Incredible Hulk. When you cross these lines and you come on to play football, it's a chance to go hit people. I play football to hit people. I'm not a violent person, but that's why I can't do that anymore, right? So, but that's why I play football. I didn't play to get pick six. I didn't play to play in 7-on-7s and all that. I played to be physical and go hit people. And that's what this program is. And so I try to infuse that into all the guys and let them know their Incredible Hulk got to be out on every game day. I always ask them, I say, you ever seen your mother mad? I said, that's her Incredible Hulk. Your dad, your sister, I need your Incredible Hulk. And it'd be really, really nice guy when you leave the stadium. When you leave the football field, you're the nicest guy on earth. They would never know. Yeah, your parents would come to the game and say, who is that out there? Okay, but when you're off the field, nicest guy in the world.
Did you learn that from Coach Perlis?
A little bit. My father, my high school coach, Coach Perlis was when I came here, I knew he was tough, gritty, hard-nosed, And I love that about him. And that was part of me being here and being a Spartan. That's just who we are.
More too about just with D'Antonio, Coach D'Antonio, you did, I mean, literally almost for the first part of your whole coaching career, you guys have been together. You mentioned how his role is not going to be X's and O's, just more of a calming presence. And why is that important right now?
It's very important because he's been through it. I mean, a head coach for as many years, 16 years, I think, counting the University of Cincinnati. And so he's seen it, he's seen a lot. He understands the different situations. You might think about this. He's already said some things to me. I'm like, you're right, Coach. You know, thank you. And reminded me of some things. But that you know, he's always been that type of presence for me, and I appreciate him coming back to support.
Do you ever think about it like this too? You know, they say sometimes God works in mysterious ways, and you might not know the answer to some questions until later. But for you to step into this role the same weekend that the Rose Bowl team is coming back to town to be celebrated, how do you approach that, and what do you think about that?
I hadn't thought I hadn't really thought about it a whole lot with everything going on, but you know, that was a special team, and I've heard from some of those guys after all this had happened, and you know, every text I'm getting is sorry because of the circumstance, but congratulations for you. I mean, multiple, and it'll be awesome to be able to see a lot of those guys because that was a great team, great guys that played hard. And did things that people didn't think they were going to be able to do, especially coming off the 2012 season where we weren't as good, and then come back in 2013 and did what we did. It'd be great to see those guys.
I'll be looking forward to seeing some smiling faces on the sideline.
Yes,
familiar
absolutely.
Smiling
yes.
faces.
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, Harlan, again for sitting down with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Audrey. Appreciate you.
We had a chance to sit down with one of the players who was on the 2013 Rose Bowl team, who was actually on the field during Kyler Ellsworth's fourth down stop to help MSU beat Stanford. You're going to hear from him when we come back.
This segment is sponsored by Chopin.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
One of the things fans can look forward to this weekend at the game is getting the chance to reminisce with one of the program's most successful teams. The 2013 squad is going to be back to celebrate the 10th anniversary of its iconic Rose Bowl victory. That's why our Haley Schoengart decided to take a trip down memory lane with someone who had a front row seat to the slice of history.
And D'Antonio will come out to shake hands. Michigan State pulls off a favored Stanford team.
Champion of the granddaddy of them all, the 100th Rose Bowl game.
Can you believe it's been 10 years?
No, because every time I think about it, it makes me feel older than I probably should think, but it's definitely exciting that, you know, we're able to celebrate a decade since the Rose Bowl, the fact that it's been 10 years. We're just really looking forward to the weekend and the celebration.
Looking back on that day, was there a moment before the game that you knew that that day was going to be something special?
I don't know if there's a moment that day. It was really just the week leading up to it. I mean, obviously, interesting circumstances when you land in LA and you know, you realize you're going to be without one of your captains. But just how the team rallied and how we approached the week. It's one of those iconic games, iconic stadiums, and iconic bowls, of course. And it's what we talked about as a program since I stepped foot on campus, you know, every single year was, of course, win the Big Ten, but get to the Rose Bowl and win the Rose Bowl. Even playing the college football video game and you get to the end of the season, you compete for a Rose Bowl. Like, there's just, it was a lot of, you know, coming to fruition moments for myself and my teammates and the whole team.
Well, on the big play at the very end, that 4th and 1.
Fullback right straight ahead, and the Spartans say didn't get it. Michigan State will take over on the 34-yard line.
You got to actually be on the field and see it with your own 2 eyes. What do you remember most?
Just, you know, always the fact that I wasn't originally on the field, you know, when the play was supposed to be run. Coach D'Antonio called a timeout. We shifted the defense, put a different package in that subbed me in for my roommate and best friend, Tawan Jones, who came out as I came in. And then they ended up lining up in the formation that we practiced throughout the week. We knew it was 100% fullback dive, and if they were going to run it, we were going to jump over the top. And so we did, and of course made the play. And Just an incredible moment, of course, for Spartan Nation, but, you know, I always say it's just incredible for somebody like Kyler also, who I watched put the time and effort and energy and the work in over his entire career. Was a big inspiration for me, just, you know, watching somebody come in as a walk-on and become a significant contributor on a team. And for him to get that moment and for that to be etched in history with his name is, it's really cool. It's really awesome.
What was going through your mind when Coach D'Antonio pulled you aside and said, you know, get in there, kid?
Yeah, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, totally blank, you know, with blank. You know, I was a 20-year-old sophomore at the time, so didn't really have a grasp of the magnitude of the situation, except for go in there, lock in on your keys, you know, go with what you practice and go out there and try to make a play.
Do any of the current players now bring up that Rose Bowl game, and what do they say?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we got kids on the team obviously that are born in, you know, 2005 now, which is wild to think about. So, I mean, they were 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. And I remember who I was watching at that age. You know, I was watching the Reggie Bushes and Vince Youngs and those folks, you know, compete in Rose Bowls then. So for the players on the team now to say that they, you know, watch our team compete at the Rose Bowl, and maybe that's what inspired them to come to Michigan State or be Spartans or play football, same way it was for me watching college ball growing up, that's pretty meaningful also.
How many times will My Type of Way by Rich Homie Quan be played this weekend?
Hopefully 1 million.
Hit it!
You know, I might actually have to get with LaRon and the marketing team, tell them they got to play that during the stadium as we're kind of walking out on the field. But just another one of those pieces of history, iconic moments, and, you know, the fact that Coach D'Antonio was a fan of Rich Homie Quan, I mean, who would have ever thought, right?
The 3-season stretch between 2013 to 2015, which featured a Rose Bowl, 2 Cotton Bowls, and a berth in the college football playoff, proved to be one of the most successful times in the program's history. But how did it get to that point? When the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show returns, we sit down with a player who may have sparked it all. We'll see you soon.
This segment is sponsored by MSU Healthcare.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
When Michigan State won the Rose Bowl, some of the players on the team gave a lot of credit to Javon Ringer and the 2008 squad. 2008 is when MSU beat Michigan for the first time in 6 years, and Ringer became the all-time leader in all-purpose yards. It's a big reason why he was inducted into the MSU Athletics Hall of Fame this weekend. And as he shared with our Ian Kress, he did not expect to get this call from Athletic Director Harlan Barnett.
I'm personally very excited. I haven't hit since the bowl game, and I'm really looking forward to hitting.
Ringer slipped as he made that cutback. Breaks a tackle. Ringer out ahead of the field. Gets one more block, and he's gone to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Javon Ringer.
You ever think that when your career ended here in 2008 that you would be now a part of Michigan State's Athletic Hall of Fame?
I had hopes of it, but when it ended, honestly, no. I did not think that. I personally never thought that I truly did enough. There was still so much that I felt like I wanted to accomplish that I don't really feel like I was able to do. Yes, I was blessed to have accomplished a lot, I guess, when you really put things into perspective. But no, at the end of my career here in 2008, no, I didn't really think so.
What did you feel like you left on the table when your career ended?
I always wanted to be a part of a winning, you know, one of the winning teams, you know, to have won the Big Ten or been a part of a really big bowl game. Those were things that I didn't really get to accomplish while I was here. As much as work that I put in, I would honestly trade a lot of my individual success to have been a part of, you know, the winning teams.
So you would trade right now being MSU's all-time leader in all-purpose yards for a Rose Bowl?
I said some. So I would trade, but you know what? Honestly, I don't know, man. That one would be a battle. I don't know, because that is a huge accomplishment to say, like, to know I left my career. I am, to this day, I am #1 in Michigan State history in all-purpose yards, rushing, receiving, and returns. Yeah, that is a pretty dope accomplishment. But also to have been a part of a Rose Bowl winning team, and there's nothing like that, man. To have been able to have that ring and to have been able to have that success with my boys, with my brothers, that's. I don't know, man. If I thought about it long enough, maybe, possibly.
How did you find out you were going to get inducted?
So I was at the barbershop, and I got a call from Alan, and And I've talked with him before, like a handful of times, so I didn't think anything of it when he was giving me a call. Like I thought maybe he was asking if I could help out with something or I don't know, anything. And when he broke the news to me, man, it definitely was a shock. I felt like it was a gut punch in a way. Got the wind knocked out of me because it just, in that surprised moment, I kind of had a little sucker attack too, like in the barbershop getting emotional. That's not cool. Like, for guys know, you in the barbershop, man, that's not where you're supposed to have these rush of emotions and get all teary-eyed and stuff. You don't do that. But I definitely had that moment and had to kind of gather myself. But it was man, saying I was surprised is an understatement.
How was the haircut?
We finished. I had to take a pause in a moment. I had to get up out of the chair because I had to separate myself. But I was able to get back and finish it and get it done. But yeah, I was truly, I was really taken back by it. And I don't know, just that feeling of like, wow, out of all people, me, and right now, because you think of, my other Spartan who is being inducted with me, he's passed. He passed away. So now thinking at my age, like I said, to have been able to receive my flowers in the aspect of me personally not feeling like I was really good enough or that I did enough, accomplished enough. It's just dope to been able to, to get this.
Are you gonna have a lot of family members up here this week?
Yes and no, not a lot. But the ones who are coming, they are a lot of my close relatives, a lot of the ones who have, supported me throughout my football career. I mean, I'm not gonna have like 30, 40, 50 people here. It's not gonna be done like that. But I am gonna have a lot of my family here. My dad passed a couple of years ago. I would have loved for him to have been a part of this. But I am truly thankful for the family members I do have now to be able to share in this moment with me.
These days, Ringer is a recruiting intern for Michigan State. And just a friendly reminder for you, today's game against number 8 Washington is going to kick off a little after 5 o'clock on Peacock. As always, we thank you for being with us and have a happy and healthy weekend.
This segment is sponsored by the Lansing Sports Commission.